I want to make a little video on racism in the United States and how the two-party system, I think, have been the main cause to the monetary uh, ways that it has shaped racism as a monetary gain in the United States. Um, it kind of dates back really to the Civil War, I think. I mean, I'm not saying that racism could really happen before that, but at least in terms of organized racism, at least good documented ones, this really kind of has really roots to that because the thing is, slavery wasn't really that abnormal in the past. I think racism is more tied to the way you treat people, and that's why United States has like in the modern terms more of a documented history on that and how they treated people, and that's why it's more of an emotional political issue in that country. So um, I think it kind of did start um, to some degree. It was the people want to abolish slavery, and then you have the South who kind of was in favor of slavery. The North was the had the abolish had people who want to abolish slavery. I don't know the term for it, but basically that you have that two side. Um, so basically, the way that the South, I think, was more like dependent on slavery for their economy. I think, and I'm pretty sure there was other reasons too, but basically they had a war over it. But it was mainly, I think, it was mainly because South didn't like the rules probably that the North did, so they wanted to separate themselves from it, and that's kind of why the war was on that one. While the North was wanted that to be the Union of the United States, and yeah, they had ruled that slavery was abolished. So yeah, so it and I even heard that Lincoln said something like even that he wanted really to just save the Union, and slavery was more of an afterthought. I think, at least I think according to that guy. But overall, the North was anti-slavery, so that's what matters in the end. Um, but basically, I really think I see the Civil War more as a tragedy, a horrible tragedy. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's. I think if this ended there, then it would just be something horror of what people do when they have such hate for other people. And I'm not sure if that would be what history books would write it as, but kind of what I think would maybe be written as. I think really what developed as racism in the United States was really the aftermath of Civil War, and that I'm mainly thinking of that movie called Birth of a Nation from 1915. Uh, and it's also argued to be the creation of Hollywood, actually, or one of the things that inspired the movie industry in the United States. It's a really old movie. You can find it online, so you can see it for yourself. But what this movie did was it resurrected the KKK, which was in a sense dying out. And historically, I don't think the KKK originally wore white robes and such. That was romanticized in the movie, where they all wore white. But in reality, I think they didn't really wear such a thing in the way that the movie described them as. So yeah, but that's the point. There was also criticism before the movie even hit theaters. So even then, they didn't really take kindly to the movie, you know. And even the president at the time, Woodrow Wilson, I think. I'm gonna search up the quote he did. Woodrow Wilson. Internet, sorry. Woodrow Wilson. Here it is. In February 1915, upon viewing the birth of a nation at a special White House screening, President Woodrow Wilson reportedly remarked, and here's the quote here. Um, it's like writing history with lightning. My only regret is that it is all so terribly true. End quote. And that's what he said. So he kind of sort of gave a little bit nudge to the movie, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so it's no wonder why racism in the United States has been very profitable. I'm pretty sure there was some insanely racist depictions before that, but this kind of hit the mark, I think. And it also has, yeah, it was about just um, about this idea that you look certain way, then you are superior, and it was just a very deluded idea of origin, and then you kind of are superior in a sense. But yeah, I think it was real that movie. I think it was real that one that created this monetary racism, and I'm gonna prove it too with history. Because if you look at the British Empire historically, they also had some racist rules like no Chinese, no dog. So there was certain things like that. There was apartheids and rules that white men can and like no whites here or something. I'm gonna look up some science just to see here. Apartheid British Empire. Prove it here. Yeah. Here's this one in South Africa. Uh, the Division Council of the Cape White Area. So yeah, you can see what I mean. The British definitely had racist rules, but here's the difference. The difference between American racism and the British racism is the British never built it as a monetary thing, as a culture. Americans actually built that as a culture, and that's the difference. Is the British now they don't live through monetary racist needs as Americans do it. In America, you have both Democrats and Republicans. In a sense, the two-party system is what is causing this racism, and you wonder why? Because it's a distraction from the real problems. It's a good way to actually distract people with um, trying to get people to hate each other, and racism is selling because people are too stupid to realize that the main cause of authoritarian two party system is the two party system. That's the problem. It's very authoritarian because you really just pick two guys, one on the extreme left and one on the extreme right. If you had gone for third party system, like Labour Party, Social Democrat, or Socialist, or left wing party, or right wing party, or anti immigration party, or religious party. And the thing is, third party system is just derogatory for parties either way. They don't want you to vote third party or encourage people to vote on individual politics that you agree with, a political party that you actually can agree with on an ideological field. They just want to keep you in line on the two party system because what this rewards is lobbyists, which doesn't really help Americans. And that's what it's about. Racism in the United States is about monetary gain, whether it's about the so called minority or majority. The point is, it's a distraction from the actual problems. And I think free speech is good. You should definitely protest if you don't agree with something in terms of having voices heard of situations that is affecting you or a community or places you live in. But that's the thing. The way that it's set up in the United States is it's kind of made to kind of just profit of it as a distraction to keep the top elites up and everyday people who actually need help of some sort. They are just kept in the trash. They just aren't heard, or they aren't important, because this is a good distraction method that the American elites and the system is encouraging Americans to believe in. If you, for example, look at the Great Britain today, you don't see that anywhere in that country. It's just British people being British. That's all. They just work together, and that's it. There's nothing like that, like American system is, because it actually is profiting off this idea, and that's the difference. Is it's just a way to distract people from the actual problems instead of confronting it with other parties or a better system in a sense. That's just what I want to say about it. Thank you for listening, and bye.